incest, treason, and just about anything else they could throw at her. Basically, she couldn't produce a son and heir for the king, and she had to be got rid of. Divorce was not an option. Well, Anne was executed at her own request. Not by the axe, which she feared greatly, but in the French manner with a two-sided sword. Well, we didn't used to execute people with swords in those days. We used the axe. So we had to send for the executioner. And he came across from Calais in France. And on the day of the execution, he set up on the scaffold, concealing his sword underneath some straw at the back. And at a given point during the execution process, he signalled to his English assistant, who said something along the lines of, "Bring me my sword." Well, at that point there, Anne was momentarily distracted in prayer. And then the Frenchman took out that sword from behind and cut her head off with one clean stroke. A merciful act, I think you will all agree. He then did what he was supposed to do, and he picked up that head and he showed it to the crowd, who were probably stood exactly where you are stood today. Only the crowd on that day all took one step back and they all gasped together. Doesn't normally work. Because it is said that her lips and eyes were still moving in prayer for 5 seconds or so after her head was removed. So quick and clean was that cut. In 1542, ladies and gentlemen, the axe unusually fell twice on the same day. This time the victims were Queen Catherine Howard and her lady-in-waiting. And Queen Catherine Howard, I don't know if you've heard this, but she was said to have been a beautiful young lady. And she wasn't about to make the same mistake as Queen Anne Boleyn. Oh no, she was trying really hard to produce a son and heir for the king. She was trying really hard. Not necessarily with the king, she was trying really hard anyway. Yeah, turned out to be Thomas Culpeper, a gentleman at court, and one or two others if the stories are correct, and she paid the price for that here on Tower Green. Jane Boleyn, her lady-in-waiting, well, she was executed immediately afterwards, and her crime was knowing of her mistress's adultery, but neglected to tell the king. So there you have it. Right guys, it doesn't matter if you was executed down here on Tower Green or up there on Tower Hill with the masses, because your body almost certainly would have found itself underneath the floor in that chapel, which is where we are going to go next, ladies and gentlemen. Before we do so though, we've got some rules with this one. First of all then, very much a Christian place of worship in there. To that end, gentlemen, if you want to go in and your religion permits you to do so, then please remove your hats. Ladies, you can keep yours on if you want. Don't want to see any bad hair days in there today. There's no eating, drinking or smoking in the chapel. Actually, I don't mind if you have a drink in there. There is no photography, so please don't take pictures. And can you now quickly check your mobiles or your cell phones are switched off? Okay? I have been reliably informed, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're under the age of 21 years old and you switch off your phone, your hearts will continue to beat. Okay? They're going to flutter a lot, but give it a go. Right, while you're checking those phones, let me tell you about the step on the entrance. It's that tall. Okay? It's about that long. It has been tripping people up for hundreds of years. You will be no exception. 4 of you are going to fall over it on the way in. That's how we roll. Ladies, if you trip, don't be alarmed. I'm going to attempt to grab you with my once strong arms. Gentlemen, I'm going to be busy with the ladies, okay? Watch out for that step. Right, if you can make your way up there, he's going to let you in. Come on, get over there. Right.